Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We're so excited for today's property tour. We're going to be starting here in just a minute or so. We have so much great information. Our investors are all ready to go to share their story and their deal that they're doing. Welcome on this morning. My name is Scott Buckholtz. I am your host. I have Keith Jones on, our co-host. So you have logged on early, and we appreciate you very, very much. As a lot of people log in right at the top of the hour and maybe a minute or so afterwards. If you could for us, please share where you are logging in from. We love seeing where everybody's coming from, as we are a national community of investors, and so we have folks on today from all over the country. We have folks that are already in our community that are a part of this great, great community of investors like myself. And then we'll have guests on this morning. So let's let everybody look at their chat room and see where everybody's coming in from. So if I could, I'll just go ahead and go through a few names here. We've got the Bobby on from Detroit. Welcome on, Bobby. How are you? New York City is on. Good morning. Fairfax, Virginia. Yaz, good morning. Hey, Chad. Arlington, Virginia. Good morning. Columbia, Maryland. Welcome on. We've got the Big D, Dallas on. Hello, Marvin. Silver Springs, Maryland. Charles, good morning. New York City. Hello. Good morning. Hazlitt, New Jersey. North Carolina. Good morning, Ivy. Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning. Dry Ridge, Kentucky. Well, Faith, good morning. You are in my neck of the woods. You are literally, I live in about 15 minutes north of you. Love to connect with you. Good morning, Faith. Maya, good morning from Delaware. Good morning, Dee, from Washington, D.C. We've got Fayetteville on, North Carolina. Dayton, Ohio. There's somebody else very close to me. Welcome on, Alexandra. Or Alexander. Sorry about that. Good morning, Shelley, Seattle. LaShawn from Chicago. Brittany, Chicago. Wow, we are all over the country here. Welcome on, Houston, Texas. Lorton, Virginia. Good morning, Wendy. Connecticut. Good to see Connecticut. ATL, Atlanta. Good morning. Carl, good morning. Well, guys, it is at the top of the hour, and we want to get this thing started. So let's get her going here. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Scott Buckholtz. I am your host this morning. We have Keith Jones on, our co-host, and we are doing our weekly property tour. We do these every Saturday morning, where we get the privilege and the honor of sharing a story and a deal from one of our investors, or in this case, a power couple investors from our community. And as we're a national community of investors, we love to collaborate. We love to work with each other. We love to learn with each other, because we understand how powerful learning and knowledge is. So we love learning together. And so today we've got a couple out of the I want to say the Maryland market, or we can call it the DC market, or the DMV market, who are taking time out of their busy schedule to share with us a particular deal, or one of their last deals that they've recently wrapped up. And so without further ado, I would love to bring out our couple. If we could stop the share. Keith, or Jennifer.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good.
Bless. Bless. How are you?
Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. So again, we are so thankful and honored that you guys took time out this morning of your busy schedule on a Saturday to share with us kind of what's going on, and share a little bit about your story, and let everybody know today who you guys are, and how you found our community, and why you guys are real estate investors.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
Jennifer, yeah, go ahead and start if you could, Jennifer.
Yeah, it's certainly a pleasure and an honor to be a part of the community. And just right out of the gate, I can certainly say that it has made a tremendous difference in our lives, changed our lives even. And so we are grateful. So Damien and I, like Scott said, are married. I am currently still working full time. Wife, we've got three beautiful kiddos. Here we're actually both from born and raised from Washington, D.C. But we've migrated a little bit outside of Washington into the Maryland, Southern Maryland area. So we're still close by. And so our current market in terms of our buying holes or fixing flips are generally around the Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. So I'll hit it over to my husband to talk a little bit about himself and how we began this journey.
First, I want to thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing us to be here today.
Amen.
Without him, none of this is possible. I do, you know, we had an event yesterday, a group event where we went and ate dinner and stuff, and we were stuck in so much traffic, and it was because someone lost their life. So we don't take no day for granted. We want to give glory and honor to God first and foremost. Um, but like my wife talked about, we are very blessed to be a part of this community. Um, we both had a desire before finding this community to get into real estate. And by the grace of God, we were fortunate enough to meet my good friend, the host, the co-host, Keith Jones, uh, at um, at a tax lien, and he introduced us, and we did some recon, and 6 years. What is it? 2018.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
6 years later, here we go. I'm still here plugging away. But my wife already mentioned I'm a firefighter. I love helping people, and this is real estate actually gives me the ability to continue on to help people, but even I think even more impact people's lives even more because we do more so. This is a fix and flip property tour that we're doing, but we do more so buy and hold. And the strategy that we use to help low income families and stuff like that to get them in good neighborhoods, get houses, good school environments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what did you guys see? This is always an interesting subject here. So what clicked? What was it that you thought, well, we're going to be real estate investors. We're going to go down this alley or this lane and we're going to start doing buy and holds and start renting or repairing or fixing these properties and renting them out. So what was it? Was it a book? What was it that you guys kind of saw or got involved in?
Well, initially we were HGTV watchers,
Yes.
and fix and flip was ingrained in our heads, buy a
By
house,
the
fix it up.
shows. Yeah.
Yep. So we like, okay, let's do that.
In 30
But
minutes, right? In 30
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly.
exactly. But after getting involved in the group and getting the education, and then realizing our goals, our long-term goals is the long-term wealth, and not that you can't get good chunks of money through fix and flips, but you have to continue to, once you buy one, fix it up and sell it, now you got to go out and do that over again.
Reinvest.
So
Yeah.
we wanted to replace our jobs, so to get that time freedom to build that wealth, to be able to leave stuff to our family, because once you sell a house, it's gone. But when you buy a house and you fix it up and you rent it out, now not only can you benefit from it now, but also once you pass away or leave it to your kids, they can benefit from it as well. So it's something that can continue on. You're always going to have people who's always going to need a place to stay. So we saw it as a longer term investment that will build that wealth for us, and then we can throw in some fix and flips in between to help chunk down debt and just get to our goal much faster.
Yeah. And to piggyback really quickly on what Damien said, I think it was after our first one. after our first one and the experience with renting and fixing the house, it really just sort of gave you that bug. It's like, oh man, we were able to do this. Once we kind of came out of that, timid state of, should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we do it? I don't know if I should do it. But after we did it, and then just having, again, the community as that undergirding for us, being able to reach back and ask questions and just kind of share with people and talk with people and bounce ideas off of people. Once we were able to do it, we were like, yeah, all right, come on, let's do this. We got it.
Oh, that's hilarious. You referred to family, and I know how important family is to you guys. And how old are your boys now?
We have one boy, we have two girls. So
Oh, I apologize.
yep, no, that's okay. The our two daughters are the oldest. They're 17, soon to be 18, and 15, and then our son is 13, soon to be 14.
Yeah, all teenagers. Help us, Lord.
So so what this is something we don't always talk about, or probably rarely talk about. What do your kids think about what you do in this business? Because I can see you guys putting them. A matter of fact, I think
You
I've seen
guys
some
were so
pictures.
beautiful, just laughing together. That was
Okay, are you guys still there with me?
You gotta unmute themselves.
Jennifer, can you go ahead and unmute?
Yep. Sorry. We're laughing because we both realize when you ask that question that our kids can care less about real estate.
They have no idea or frame of reference. And it's, as a parent, and I'm sure, many of you that, have children can understand, as a parent, you want to provide for your kids, you want to give them more or better, than what you have. And so with that comes a balance, right? It comes a balance of, yes, I want to bless you with, things I didn't have, or be able to take you and do things I wasn't able to do. However, I also want to teach you the value of earning, of working hard, of, and making sure that you have that concept, right? And so we drag them into our projects, and they don't like it. It's hot sometimes. We're in hot houses, we're in
Stinky
crowded
houses.
houses. Oh, Lord have mercy. We're in stinky houses. Um,
Actually, one of the pictures probably that we have
yeah,
somewhere around here, you can see my son. He's in the picture, and his
with
nose
a
is
shirt, with a shirt.
And I brought that up because I've seen you guys share pictures of that before.
Yeah,
And it's always interesting because family is so important, and just the fact that you guys do include them and you are showing them, you know, like you said, those different traits and those different things that are so important in life.
yeah,
And we say this, and I'll continue to say this saying is, we don't know what we don't know.
yeah,
correct.
And I didn't find this community, guys, until I was in my 50s. And I continue to say, if I knew what I know now back in my early 20s, oh my gosh. I mean, I can't even imagine
Right.
where I would be, or what, but in hindsight, I would not go back,
Right.
because, I have 5 beautiful children, 8 beautiful grandchildren.
Praise God.
I met my wife of 30, almost 31 years now, later in life. So I don't want to go back and change it. I'm just saying that knowledge
Right.
is so powerful, because, we talk a lot about the four currencies, and, time, money, knowledge, and relationship. And when I found this group, my mind was so focused on money, like so many people are. You're focused on make that money, save that money,
really this
save.
couple.
We got somebody off mute. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we
We
muted.
appreciate if everybody stay on mute. That would be great. But I'm so focused on money, which pretty much the whole world is.
I was
And
gonna
then
ask.
we found this community, Sue and I did, and we
Oh,
understood
my
and
bad. Sorry.
became okay. No
Yeah, I can.
problem. If you could stay on mute, that would be great for us. If you got a question, we'd love to see it. Just type it in the chat room for us. And then I found the community. so forth. So if we could, Jennifer and Dameon, if you guys could jump back on. Unfortunately, you got muted.
No, we're
We're
not
here.
muted.
Okay.
Hey, Scott, one of the things I just want to add in there that as we're starting to see the trend, and the lawyers are definitely are showing that is, because you have kids, they have kids, we have kids. What we're starting to realize, we can tell our kids a lot of things, but the thing that really kind of resonate them is what they see us do.
Yeah.
And so it's really awesome for them to have their kids, that participate. Again, time may go by, but at least they know, like, you know what? I saw my parents do this. Maybe they knew what they was talking about, and then they start to, take it to the next level. And so that's really awesome that they do that. But I'm really excited about this property that y'all found. How did y'all find this property? Like how many bedrooms and baths? Because, you know, you have done this multiple times, but this one's different. I think because you said y'all
Yeah.
normally do like a buy and hold, a fix and hold, but this one is a fix and flip. So what was that pivot there? What was going on there?
You want me to tell
Yeah. Go ahead.
it? So we have the fortune of a lot of different classes that we are privy to. And one of the classes is auctions and also foreclosures. So we took advantage of that class and we said we wanted to look into possibly going to some auction to see if we can find and buy a foreclosure. Because with this market, the interest rates, just the competitiveness of stuff being on the MLS, and even when you have a group of like wholesalers sending you deals, they have so many buyers on their list. It's almost like the second MLS, so it's kind of flooded. So you kind of want to narrow your pool down. So I took some trips to the courthouse steps and was able to bid on this foreclosure property, and we won it in a foreclosure auction, and we didn't really know because there's a lot of unknowns, and that's why it's very important to be educated in what you do, because it's not as easy as me just going to the courthouse and just bidding on the house. You got to know a lot of the ins and outs, in which this group is so great at helping us to be able to grasp that knowledge, to be able to make sure that we're buying a good deal. So what we did was we found a house that was in an area that we would like for a rental, um, and then that was our goal, because you want to always have like multiple different exit strategies. You never want to go in it with just one way of being able to make money, because if that way closes because the market turns, then you are, out of some money, or so we originally want to buy, like I said, our main goal is buy and hold. So that was our desire to keep the property. Then after buying it and then going through the renovation, and then just seeing the market and our situation, we decided that we're gonna sell it.
So like wholesome.
We got you. Go ahead.
If you could put your questions in the chat, they'll answer, but you'll have plenty of time to ask questions. I appreciate your enthusiasm and wanting to ask the questions. We just don't want to slow the process down. But if you put them in the chat, I guarantee we're going to answer them.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And so one of the things what I'm hearing in your story is y'all had a plan. And I know that's what the class talk about, your strategic plan, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. And as y'all was kind of walking through, y'all have multiple conversations to be able to pivot to meet y'all plan that y'all going for. And that's really awesome, especially as we say, called husband and wife. So that's really awesome to see. Now, in particularly when y'all was looking at this one, as y'all was doing your strategy, do y'all like one run the numbers, the other one have like the like how do y'all balance that out as husband and wife when it comes to when y'all look at a property?
So Dameon will typically run the numbers. We'll both kind of look at the strategy, like what is it, what's it good for? Is it good for being able to cash flow after all is said and done when it comes to the renovation? After all is said and done with, us procuring the funds to do everything, is it still good for a rental? or do we, can we also, flip this particular property? So he'll typically run the numbers. I'm usually coming up with thoughts and ideas about the design for the property, a little bit of the layout, how we're going to structure different things in order to maximize our, potential profit, for the property. Because even if we do a rental, then we're looking to sort of probably do a refinance so that we can get out of the loan vehicle that we're in, get into a more sort of a secure loan vehicle, as well as, take out some of the equity that we've built by rehabbing the property.
I'm sorry, but what is refinancing and equity?
Hey, Scott, you got that one?
Yes, sorry about that, Keith. I went on mute. I didn't want to distract Keith, or excuse me, Jennifer and Dameon. Yeah, so again, please type your questions in the chat room, because if we have everybody just coming on asking questions, it really kind of slows everything down, and it makes it not as smooth. Appreciate the excitement and the enthusiasm. But what is refi? So basically, refi process is where you're involved in an investment deal, and at some point, whether you have already rented the unit out and you have tenants, or you're in the process of filling or renting the unit out, you basically move the your position, your capital position in the property into another secured lender, another secured lender. A lot of times it could be a local bank of sorts, or it could be another lending institute, or what we call a non-traditional lender, where you can actually set it up on maybe a 30-year fixed, where you're making monthly payments that include your principal, interest, tax, and insurance. You could be on maybe a 5-year balloon type refi. You could be on interest only. But we go through all that information in our groups, in our communities, in our classes. So hopefully that answered the question on the refi. What was the other one that she asked?
Well, Scott, we're starting to get some questions actually in the chat. So like, some people are saying, are y'all real estate investors? I mean, real estate agents?
Real estate agents.
Yeah, y'all real estate agents?
No.
Nope, we're not real estate agents. We are agents. We are investors.
Awesome. And then as we kind of go through again, everybody, if you don't mind putting your questions in the chat, that makes things really awesome for me to get through. And then another question is, where do you typically find these investments?
Well, like I stated before, multiple different ways. MLS, wholesalers, auction steps or courthouse steps for auction properties, auctions online. There's multiple different ways. You could go past a house yourself that you see it the grass may be unkept, or it looks like the house is empty or vacant. So there's multiple different ways that you can find your leads, find houses.
Yep.
Awesome, thank you. And so I know there's some folks, this is probably your first time being with us, and there's a lot of questions that you have. And so what we do on these times, we let a featured investor kind of share their progress and their story. They're in action. And so we want to, conserve their time, and we really appreciate them coming out and sharing. But if you really want to understand and learn, just ask the person who invited you to this meeting to say, I want to really start to learn. Reach out to them, and they'll get you into a meeting where they kind of lay out the format that we're talking about and give you some more education when it comes along with it. And if you're really, really hungry, well, there's a meeting right after this where you can actually get plugged in. It's a different Zoom link. So just reach out to that person, says, hey, just need to know more, and then they'll get you the right link. So again, thank you for that. And Dameon, Jennifer. So
Can I say something?
Property? Can you go ahead and start talking about this property?
Yeah. So, I'll just, a spoiler alert. I did not, again, our initial strategy was we were going to rent this property. But after it was done, I did not want anybody to move into this house. I did not I wanted to just keep it for myself and set it aside. And that maybe one day, if we decided to move out of our current house, that was the house that we were going to move into. Because it was just that beautiful after it was all said and done. But like Dameon said, we actually acquired this through an auction. And so he did the recon work on the property and sort of what was going on with the property. And then after it went through the whole court process, then we essentially had to go and take possession of the property.
All right, awesome. If you want to go ahead and start sharing your screen, so that way we can look at the awesome property that, we all eager to,
Yeah,
see
sure,
and see the
sure.
great work that y'all did.
Show you guys a couple before pictures.
And then there's a question about numbers, so they'll get to the numbers towards the end when it comes to that.
Yep, we're gonna go over the
Yep,
numbers.
we have a whole slide dedicated to the numbers. And so Keith, if you can just let me know if you
Yes,
all
we see
can
your
see.
screen. We see your first screen.
And that's the picture of the kitchen. That's my son covering his nose up that I was talking about earlier.
There's the proof.
It was an interesting house.
Yes.
So how many bedrooms, how many baths on this one?
So when we first purchased it, it was originally technically 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, technically.
Yes, 3.5 baths, 3 bedrooms.
Oh, I like how y'all set this up. It was originally.
Yes, yes, because you got to pour into it, right? You got to
Yeah.
put a little equity into it.
Yeah.
So this is the front of the home. When we first got it, like I said before, we kind of had to take possession. Although the original owner had kind of been evicted from the home, there was still kind of a holdover, right? And so the house was it was overgrown with shrubs, and it was just really, really in a bad state. And the living conditions in the house was really, really bad. We could tell that the court or the bank had already done an eviction of the previous owner, and then that they just kind of came back and they were pretty much just living in the home, because there really wasn't a whole lot of furniture necessarily. For as large as the house is, it really wasn't a whole lot of furniture. But you'll see from, as we go through some of the photos, sort of where, the previous owners, how they were living and where they were kind of camping out in the house.
Awesome, awesome. Okay.
Right.
So as you walk into the front door and you look to your right, that's the dining room. And those are not designer tables. that, that is 2 mattresses. And they were, which was strange because you'll see there's bedrooms there
yeah,
that they could have been staying in, but they chose to stay there. And it was just a bad situation. And it was very unfortunate. I think it was kind of a blessing that she was, moved on to a better environment.
yeah. But you can see that, the home wasn't taken care of. Up here in this top right corner, right over the bay window, there's water damage because more than likely it was coming from the gutters. The gutters, the roof area just not being cared for. And so there was water starting to come, through the roof and seeping into the house through that area over here. So this was the family room. Again, just an example of, just the way the home was being cared for and what was happening in the home. So we were able to, get dumpsters and really just kind of clean all of this stuff out. This was the family room area, which was right off of the dining room. So these two pictures here tried to give you a little bit of a view, different angle view of the kitchen. So this first picture, of course, is just from the laundry room facing the kitchen. You're kind of facing, there's a bay window over toward the right, the island, the kitchen, and then, the sink area. And then the second picture over on the right is facing from the family room, facing the kitchen, where you're able to see the island and the stove and sort of what's happening on that side.
So one of the questions people, probably thinking is, so because this was a foreclosure, like, so when you actually won and you got the deed, did y'all have like the sheriff go with y'all to, to the house to, to verify and change the lot? For like, what was some of the first couple of steps that y'all did?
So what we did was I made contact with the person who was living there, the owner of the property. And what we did was we did an agreement, a cash for keys agreement, to get them out.
Yeah, that's one of the things that
Yeah, we've learned in the group.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, that kind of make it a little bit more, so that way the previous owner
A quicker process, because had we had to go through the courts, the eviction process could take up to 60 days.
so you also kind of did like a negotiation with them too. So
Correct.
to save
Yep,
yourself.
which is another class that we are fortunate to have negotiations.
Yeah, and I guess we'll say as a tip, if you ever find yourself in a foreclosure situation like this, then a cash for keys is certainly an option. Talking to the previous owners, trying to negotiate. We ultimately ended up meeting the person's family. They came over. We allowed them to take things that they could take and help her with. From the property, allowed her to come and get, some of the things that she wanted from the property. And and then we were able to move forward and do the demo we needed to do for the property.
Now, people are kind of asking because, cash for keys is kind of like something like they hear, but they don't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
So not to kind of like give like a whole class, but can you just kind of like a little snippet of what does that mean? And how did y'all come up with that number? If the number shows up in there, but how did y'all come up with that?
Well, cash for keys is when you negotiate the person leaving the property in the as-is condition. I'm not making it any worse. If they want to take whatever they want to take, but just make an agreement that you will give them a certain amount of money, whatever you determine is fair,
And time.
to be able to do it. Because ultimately, unfortunately, you're evicting someone from their house. But at that point in time, it's your house. And the state of the house, you don't always know that someone actually lives there. So you're very empathetic towards that person,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to try to work with them to try to put some money in their pocket because they have to leave in an abrupt manner. So you're trying to get them on to their next step. So we were fortunate enough to be able to find some family members that she could stay with, put some money in her pocket, and then with a foreclosure, I don't know if it's good or if it's bad, but whatever is over the amount that you bid in a foreclosure, that person gets that back in a surplus. Whatever the surplus is, minus the fees, that person receives that as long as they go and make that claim for it.
Mm-hmm.
So they still get even the money that we gave them plus whatever the surplus is over the bidding of the auction.
Wow. So that's really, you learn about the education, but you also, when somebody gets into a bad time, you are still helping them throughout the process. And if it wasn't for y'all to step up, they would probably still be in that situation, but probably won't be able to have like cash and keys,
Right.
us to be able to go after, and they probably never knew that they can go after that. So that's really awesome.
Yep.
That you're sharing that with them, and the strategy of cash for keys is minimize the damage to the house. That's Really important. Hey, Scott, have you dealt with something like that before?
Sorry, Keith, I was actually looking at a question that was coming through. No, I have not done that, but I know there's been quite a few people within our community that have, and I know that again, like if I come across something like that that I believe I want to get involved in, I know that I'm going to be touching base with Jennifer and Dameon, that's for sure. And and
But
that's
that's the power of the community, Scott.
that's exactly right. And so many times we have fun with what I just said, and you guys laughed, and beautiful smiles and everything. But I, I'm serious about that.
Yeah.
I love the relationships that we have,
yes, yes.
and I know that Dameon, if he had a question on something, maybe on a new build on a on a house, he was building a house, he knows that I do that.
Yes, I
So
do.
he wouldn't hesitate to call me, and I would do the same to him because we've met, we work together, we collaborate together, and so relationships are so powerful.
Yep.
And but no, Keith, I've not done that yet. But it is a
For a
great,
while.
it's
They
a
just checked in,
great,
right?
yeah, it's a great strategy. And once you've done one of them or a couple of them, you feel a lot more comfortable with it. So but again, great question, guys.
Awesome. So I see that you get the bedroom there. Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah, no problem.
Tell us about this one.
Yeah, this is the primary bedroom. It was huge. It was huge. On the other side of this rail is actually the sitting area for the primary bedroom. And it could honestly be its own bedroom
Mhm.
itself just because of the size of the sitting area. But like we said before, as you can see, there are bedrooms in the house. But they were not living in the bedrooms. They were kind of camped out downstairs in the dining room. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of leftover stuff, in the bedroom. This is the primary bathroom right off of that bedroom. So, nothing crazy going on here. Mostly, it didn't look like the bathroom was even being used. The water, a lot of the faucets and the water was off. There was just kind of stuff left over in the tubs and the shower. So after we took possession, it didn't look like
They went
that.
upstairs.
Yeah, they really went upstairs much at all. So this was the basement. You can't see it, but over to the left, a part of the ceiling had actually fallen down. After we kind of took possession of the property too, you want to tell them about the incident that happened, the flooding?
Um, yeah, I'm trying to remember. I know something. Oh, one of the fittings. So we fixed the ceiling, and we didn't check to make sure that there weren't any leaks before the ceiling was fixed, because if you look at it, you don't obviously see anything that is obvious. And there was a leaky toilet, the half bath above. So we end up having to take it back down, fix it, and put it back again. So a lesson learned is make sure you check all of the water to make sure that you don't have any obvious leaks before you go and fix things.
All the pipes, open up all the pipes.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome.
Oh, I think, yeah. So this kind of goes into the reveal. I don't know if you had any additional questions before we kind of went into the video of the reveal.
Well, now there are a couple of, I'm just going to give people a chance to go ahead and put their question in the chat before we go into the real. And thank you for that pause. So you bring up a really good point about inspecting. So did you learn how to do that? I mean, or did you have a general contractor go with you when you went to go look at that property? Like what was your
Yeah.
method?
So with a foreclosure, you don't get any inside view. Because of one of our classes that we have is home inspectors. And that class inspired me to become a home inspector myself, so I can have a little leg up when I'm going to bid on houses, so I can know what I'm looking at to see just a roundabout cost of how much it would be, to fix it if it's a problem that is going to cost us a lot of money, because everything can be fixed. But how much is it going to cost us? So I took the class to become a home inspector, and not that I do it to be a home inspector, but I just do it, like I said, for our business to be able to have a leg up. We put in the offers with no inspection contingency. But with foreclosures, you don't have the access of the inside. You can see the outside. You can, you get a sense of the market, and then you run your numbers based off of how much worst case scenario. If I had to fix everything in this house, would I need to buy this I'm gonna buy this house at to make it profitable? So that helped. The classes help with me just doing a analysis of worst case scenario to make sure that we were in a good situation.
Awesome. Now I'm going to assume y'all use a general contractor, because there was a question in the chat, like, did you contract out for the repairs?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then Noah, the question they're going to get towards the end is, how did you finance your project? You don't have to go into numbers, but how did y'all use hard money lender?
So we use private money and hard money. So we were into this deal with zero.
So y'all was able to, so wait a minute. So y'all sound like y'all learned a lot. You find the deals, you have a strategy, and then you was able to not only get the property, but no money out of pocket, because you learned how to do that also.
Actually, let me go back. We had to put 5,000 down, 5,000 down for the deposit for the foreclosure.
For the foreclosure
Yeah.
product.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably use the private money, hard money, just to recover that cost. So there was a little time gap in between, but no, that's and thank you for clarifying that, because there's a lot of things that people will say, no money in the pocket, but they don't really talk about that first initial
Right,
to get things going. Right.
Yep.
And so I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, or even that process. Some people don't believe that that is a possibility, and probably before we really got into this, got knee deep into it, I think we were skeptical also. So that doubt is out there. But after really getting into it, after really learning, after really experiencing it for ourselves and being able to walk through deals, it's definitely a possibility. You can do it. It's all about what you learn. It's all about the connections that you make from a community.
Yep.
Going at it alone is very hard. A lot of people say, yeah, I can find information on YouTube, or
You can.
search the internet. But going at it alone is a lot more difficult than finding a group of like-minded real estate investors that are there to help you.
And it's tested and tried and true. It ain't just some person you just see saying something that you don't know if it's legit, if they're actually doing it, if what they're saying is true. So these are all you're learning from people who do what you're being taught to do.
Yeah.
And it's all legal, ethical, and legit. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why, when you set up a system and people know what you're doing, you have success. Yes, you can do this, like no money out of pocket, especially if they know you're about to go into a deal. They may go ahead and just fund you to get all that going, because they want to be in that, first position to do that. So there's more questions about, terms of financing. We can get into just a little bit later. Questions like, did you use cash or credit? So you can start to see people are really kind of eager about, like, even though y'all dropping a lot of dimes when it comes to gems about the process, a lot of us get focused just on the money, and y'all talking about everything before the money and the strategy, stuff like that. So that's really awesome. So you have a video that you want to play, and it's about, you said about 2 minutes or so. So
Yes.
as they're showing the video, are you going to talk through it, or does it have
Nope, just let the video play, then
Yep.
we can answer any questions
we can answer
afterwards.
any questions.
Go over the numbers afterwards.
Yep.
Awesome. So that's what we'll do. So everybody, here's your chance to go ahead and put your questions in, and then Scott and I'll be monitoring it. So after the video is over with, then we'll go ahead and start going through the questions. So go ahead and play video. Thank you.
All right.
But we don't have we don't have the volume though. Hey Jennifer, we don't hear this. We don't hear the sound.
I think that's okay, Keith, as long as they get to see the pictures of the inside of how it's finished. It's beautiful. Guys, you did a beautiful job.
Awesome. We'll keep rolling.
Yeah, can you guys hear us?
We can hear you now. Yes.
You, but
Okay.
not this, but not the video.
Okay, no worries. We'll talk you through it then. This is the foyer. So when we originally got this, if you could see the video, there is, you see that the before shot. Off to the left, this is the new bedroom that we created. So we ended up creating and making this a 5-bedroom, 4.5, 5-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom. So we created another primary bedroom on the first floor with its own ensuite. This is the dining room, that dining room that you saw, filled
Wow.
with mattresses and clothes.
Wow, what a difference.
This is the family room.
Mm. Love how you got the outlets above the fireplace for a TV. Good thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the new kitchen.
So
Right?
cool.
This is going into the basement. The bookshelves were already there, but we added new flooring, updated the railing, updated the bathrooms, all of the fixtures. This is the new, well, this is the bedroom. We added an egress window over there. And this is the closet for that bedroom. This is the rec room of the basement. Now we're upstairs on the 3rd level. And this is that primary bedroom. This is the sitting area of that bedroom. And this is the bathroom.
Nice.
I still love that tub.
I heard Dameon picked it out.
He did.
I did. Actually, I did. You was being funny, but I did.
Oh, I was just joking, but I got
Yeah, you know, we find our materials, you know, in a lot of different places. And so that tub, which is usually somewhere around $1,000, we ended up finding on Facebook Marketplace. How much was it?
I paid 480, I think.
Yeah,
Brand new.
brand new.
Oh, we had to drive all the way out Chantilly to get it. But
But it was worth
hey,
yeah.
it was worth it. It's like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good 75 miles.
Yeah. So hey Scott, I know you all about construction and building. Just to even hear you say, "Wow, that's really awesome." That means a
No,
lot. They did an
that
awesome job.
that property turned out wonderful. And I love every time I get really super excited, Dameon, Jennifer, when I hear people add bedrooms and bathrooms to properties, because it adds so much value to the property, and which increases your equity.
Yes.
And so, you just talked earlier about, looking at numbers, Dameon, that you and Jennifer said you normally run the numbers first. And so how did you establish the ARV for everybody on after repair value, which is one of the most important numbers that investors look at, because that allows us to decide if it can be, if the deal is a deal, or if it needs to be negotiated even farther down, and to be able to get the rehab done so there's enough equity in it to make it worth the investor's time. And so how did you establish that ARV, Dameon?
We looked at comps in the area, houses that sold in the area. So I noticed that you can go 6 months or whatever. I typically try to do 3 months, because it's going to
Excellent.
take me, yeah, it's going to take me a few months so I don't want to put myself outside of that window. So I typically do like 3 months sold and find if once we fix it up, how many bedrooms, bathrooms we need to add to make it look like those houses that recently sold. And that's how we get our ARV.
But we did have the appraisal done.
Pre-appraisal, yeah.
Yeah, we did have a
But
pre-appraisal.
that's what they determined. Yeah.
So when you went into the deal and you decided, what you were doing, you had an ARV established of around 700,000. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was over 700. Yep.
Yeah, the
It was over.
pre-appraisal, yeah, came in at 734. With all the work that we were slotted to do and improvements that we were slotted to make on the home, that pre-appraisal came in at 734.
Was that very costly to get a pre-appraisal done?
No, the hard money lenders
Yeah, it's required.
is required for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I knew how you were going to answer that, but I wanted everybody online to hear that. So, because that is a process with hard money lenders,
Yep.
they want to get that. They want to make sure secure. They're going to get their money out.
Right.
And,
Absolutely.
and that's what this business is about. And, those relationships, remember, money, time, knowledge, and relationships. And so is this hard money lender, again, we don't mention names, we don't, mention interest rates or points or anything like that. But is this someone you've used before?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. That is so crucial, folks, is these relationships. You just don't start in this business. And I think Jennifer and Dameon, you will concur with what I'm about to say. You just don't start day one, right? And already
Right.
have a hard money lender and know how to talk to hard money lenders
Right.
and understand what they're looking for to decide is Dameon and Jennifer a good investment? Okay.
Right.
Is this deal a good? You have to learn that, and being a part of the community and having the education that we have and the training and our mentors that we have are top notch, best in the country mentors at what they do. And they help us with all this, and we learn how to do all this. And so, you built relationships. And so what happens is, as the process goes on, was this one working with this repeat hard money lender, was it as complicated or as hard as the first one you did with them?
No.
No.
No, yeah,
That's right.
because they've grown to trust us. They've grown to know that we know what we're doing when we're bringing them a deal, and we know what they're looking for when we're bringing them a deal. So
Yep.
they've grown to trust us.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you guys are sharing those golden nuggets, because that's so important. And I don't know if you guys were like me, and I know we're getting toward the top of the hour, but when I first found this community, my mindset was not the same as it is today.
Correct.
It's not the same as it was 3 years ago, or it was not the same as it was 2 months after I met this group, because I had an open mindset. My mindset was kind of set a little bit, but it was open, and it completely changed within just a short period of time. But my mindset was, okay, I've heard that people do deals without their own money, but someone's going to, I'm from Missouri. I grew up in Missouri. That's the show me state. So
Yeah,
someone's going to have to show me that that can be done, because I hear it's being done, but part of that little voice in the back says, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have 70,000. I don't have 50,000 that I can just spend on a deal. So I can't do real estate. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's really important for our guests.
Talk a little bit about the not
about the
doing.
fact about the fact that there are, not only are you doing deals without using your own money, about the fact that so many investors don't use their money.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's about those relationships, right? So, being a part of the community that we're now a part of has allowed us to network. It's allowed us to network and become friends with, become partners with other investors who may be interested in partnering in doing the work with us. And then we have other investors who are like, I don't necessarily want to do the work. I just have a retirement fund or something to that degree that I want to be able to earn, use, and yeah, get interest on my money, right? And so we build those relationships, and they're like, hey, okay, I'll fund your deal for X amount of, percent back in 6 months and 12 months, or however long, you negotiate that particular deal for. But we have, again, being a part of the community just kind of allows us to build those relationships and find out what people are looking to do, because you don't necessarily have to be the one that's rolling up your sleeves, getting in the trenches. You could just be a money lender.
But your money lender wants to know that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's them having the trust. One, they know they're learning what you're learning, or they know that you know what you're doing because they've seen that what you've done before. So you've built that trust, that their money is, it's not guaranteed, but it's more safe than it is with somebody else. So it is very important to have that trust. But we do want to just quickly go with just the numbers real quick.
Sure.
The purchase price, wish we had more time, but because it was a story with the purchase price. But the purchase price totaled up to about 484. We put down 10% with the hard money lender, which is about 450. The estimated rehab originally was about 63, and as you can see, actually went about 5,000 over that budget, which isn't bad at all. Private money cost for the down payment was 3,600, and then we selling it. Actually, was supposed to originally go to closing on the 31st, but they're pushing it back for another week or so.
Yeah, so it's under contract. The house is currently under contract, and we will be going to closing.
Yep, and with the holding cost for keep having the property, utilities, and for the 3 months that we've had it is 19,000, and 8% of the closing costs being deducted. We're looking at a potential property after paying everyone is $80,000.
That's fantastic, guys. I mean, that is a lot of money. $80,000 potential profit. I mean, they're not all fix and flips are not, I don't want anybody on here to think they're going to go in and every
Right.
fix and flip they're going to do, they're going to potentially make $80,000.
Correct.
That's not going to always happen. Sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's 60. It could be over 100. It could be even more depending on the acquisition price and how much the property actually sells for. But the bottom line is you guys potentially can make $80,000, which so many people don't even make that in a year, guys.
Correct.
I mean, how blessed are you guys? I mean, that is
Super
just,
blessed.
Yeah.
oh my gosh. That's amazing. Well, guys, this has been an incredible property tour, and we can't wait as long as we did this time to get you guys back out again. So next time you guys are doing a deal, let's get you guys back out again, because your stories are so powerful and you guys are so giving. And that is one of the things that I found out about this community the first time I went to a meeting with a bunch of folks that are already a part of the community, is how everybody had such a pay it forward,
Amen.
mindset.
Amen.
And they were so willing to help, and there's so many things out there, these weekend guru camps, these other things where you buy a bunch of DVDs and you go online and you do all this stuff, but they don't have the community, and they don't have the top level mentors that we have. And so I appreciate you guys so much. And so let's leave everybody. We got a couple minutes. Again, Keith talked about this. If you're on and you want to go to the overview after this, it starts in about 6 minutes. If you guys want to go to that, reach out to Invited You and they'll get you a link. Okay. And so Keith, I'm sorry, Dameon and Jennifer, how would you like to wrap up? Could you leave everybody with just a few words? As we have a lot of guests on today that they're kind of trying to figure out this whole investing thing and what our community is about and how much it will help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly I want to say thank you guys for always just believing in us and supporting us. We certainly do appreciate it. And to the one that's on the fence, just come see what it's all about. At the very least, you gain knowledge, you gain relationships. Allow that to propel you and to motivate you to get yourself going with your own real estate business. And there are so many aspects of real estate that you could, become or be a part of. It doesn't have to be, just one direction. It doesn't have to just be a fix and flip. It doesn't have to just be a rental. There's so many other aspects that you could come and be a part of to help build wealth for yourself and to help build generational wealth for your family. So it's at the very, very least, you leave with knowledge and understanding about the processes, as well as relationships if you choose to get connected.
That is
Well,
awesome.
that's amazing. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we really do appreciate y'all taking your time and sharing. Um, I know Dameon was like, I'm gonna let her speak first, but I can tell there's something on the tip that you wanted to get out.
No, ladies first. I'm a gentleman. If
Awesome.
nothing else. um, but no, I was just going to shortly just say that everything that you want is on the other side of fear. Fear stops us in our tracks from doing a lot of things that we aspire, that God has given us the desire to do. And we can't allow fear to stop us from moving forward to the things that God has for us.
Absolutely.
Well,
Awesome.
guys, this was amazing. We appreciate you. For everybody that's on today, I'm hoping you took a lot away from this. Again, I want to thank our featured investors, Jennifer and Dameon, for taking time out. And if you're on and you'd like to continue to plug in, it will be back next Saturday with another fantastic property tour. We're going to be shifting from the East Coast more out west. So would love to have you back on.
Yeah, we're working
Jennifer,
on
Dane, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're working on a project now, so hopefully we'll be coming on soon. Working on another project.
Okay. All right. I just heard that. You're in. You're officially in.
Yes,
So
sir.
we want to make sure we get in early so we can kind of see like the early parts of it of what you're
Oh,
doing.
we're past the early parts already. Sorry, you missed that.
Oh, we did?
I'm sorry.
Hey
Yeah,
Scott, they're like you. They
my,
just keep moving.
man,
I
my
love it.
crew. I got an awesome crew. They
Yeah.
roll. They quick.
Yeah, they're quick.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
leads through.
I have so many people that reach out and say, "Why don't you do more property tours?" I'm like, "We've got so many incredible investors in our community that I want to share what's going on around the country." And
Yeah.
I could with as much as I'm doing and I'm about to get started on, I could do one every Saturday and be in a
Yeah.
different property, it seems like.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys. Everybody have a blessed weekend. Keith, thank you for being on and being a part of this and hosting today.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Thank you.
and God bless everybody and have a great weekend. Okay.
All right. Thank
Good
you,
Awesome.
luck.
guys.
Bye, everybody. Take action. Take
Love
action.
you guys.
All right.
All
Love
right.
Take
you.
care.
You too.
All right.